Good morning, beautiful people. Today we are going to be hanging out in my kitchen. We're going to be talking about coffee. Let's get started. Today we are going to talk through 4 different methods of coffee making that I use. But first, let's talk about the gear that we'll be using. For the coffee grinder, I'm using Fellow. Coffee beans, I'll be using Intelligentsia. The coffee filter is depending upon the method. And kettle, I'm also using Fellow. We really like that brand around here. Scale, I'm using a Pexton. CHEMEX, I'm going to use CHEMEX. French press, I'm using Bodum. AEROPRESS, I'm using AEROPRESS. Pour over, I'm using a V60, but you could also use something like this, or like this. Now that we have our setup, let's make some coffee. The first of our 2 pour-over methods is going to be a V60. For this, you're going to heat your water just below boiling, which you'll do for every method, as well as when it comes to your coffee beans, I always use whole beans and then grind them myself. The filter you'll always wash out just to make sure that you're not tasting any of that paper, and the coffee beans for this method are going to be smallest grind size that we'll have through our 4 methods. Also, I will always be heating up my vessel that I'm using as well as my coffee cup just to make sure it stays warm. This method is great for 1 to 2 cups of coffee, and it takes about 5 minutes from the grinding the beans to sipping your coffee. There's going to be 4 pours in total, and the first is going to be called our bloom. Now, seeing that these are all going to be kind of an overview, I will put a link in the description for full recipes as well as the affiliate links if you want to use any of the types of items that I'm using. Our second pour over is going to be a CHEMEX. Now this is best for about 1 to 3 cups of coffee per item. We're going to do the same method in the beginning when it comes to heating up our vessels. And time-wise, this is going to take about 6 to 7 minutes from start to finish. This, however, is going to be the trickiest vessel to clean out of our methods. AEROPRESS. This method is the easiest when it comes to travel because it is the easiest to take with you. Now here, I forgot to show you that I put the filter in, but that's what that is. AEROPRESSes do only make 1 cup of coffee, so do keep that in mind. This method is also nice because you don't really use a scale, you're more so just eyeing it, as well as learning the flavor profile that you like. This method allows for some waiting time, so you could always dance during that. When your cup of coffee is ready to drink, make sure that you are pressing down equally as you are plunging the coffee into your cup. French press. Also, ignore that you see me this whole time. French press is our last coffee that we're going to make, and it does have the largest grind size. And this is my favorite part. Also, why is this so reflective? While you wait for your coffee to brew, go ahead and grab your favorite coffee cup. It is also the coffee that is going to take you the longest because a lot of it has to do with waiting. Immerse the plunger until it's just below the surface and go ahead and pour that coffee. Doesn't that smell good? Just kidding, you can't smell this. And these are all the types of brewing methods that we have. We do not have a standard drip coffee because we don't love the flavor profile of that. It does take a little bit longer and a little bit more time intensive to make these types, but in my opinion, it is very worth it. If you've never made a coffee in any of these ways, a good way to start out to see if you like the flavor of them is to try it at a local coffee shop. You can go in, a lot of times they will definitely have pour over options for you. Depending on where you go, they could have a CHEMEX option. And a lot of times, even if they are using a machine, they have a really good machine and the flavor is just as good. And one of the most important things to remember about coffee is enjoy the coffee the way that you like it. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope that this helps you enjoy your next cup of coffee just that much more. Cheers.